press the contractor to get done by the end of December. Now, every time I say that, he breaks into a cold sweat and starts talking about the weather and the county and on and on and on, but we're still driving for a December 31st
I understand
date.
it's a target. You know, with construction,
Yeah.
we all understand that, but at least we have some target there.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to tell you, and somebody mentioned the pool. One of the things the county actually did was they asked us to tell them exactly how large the new pool we were putting in, with it's expected, but then they also wanted to know the capacity of the other pools that we had, not single-family home pools, but other pools that were available, because part of their evaluation is to try to figure out not only parking spaces, but pool spaces. So it warms your heart to know that the county's looking after how deep are our pools and how wide are they and how much water do they contain. At least I feel comfortable knowing that. Yes, sir.
Dave, is there going to be a published list of the fitness equipment that's going to be installed so we can see what's coming, or is that those decisions already been made? No input will be welcome.
The question is there going to be a published list of the fitness equipment that will be utilized in the new facility? I know that Don and his staff have been doing a lot of work on that, and I know that the board has been systematically replacing and upgrading the equipment as it goes along. They haven't let me be privy to that, except we've told them where we're going to put electrical outlets so they know what's going in. I think a lot of what we have now is serviceable, and I think some of the replacement plans are part of the longer range capital budget that will be done by the club in the fall. Did I misspeak myself, Madam President? No, okay. Yes, Peggy?
You said that demolition doesn't take very long. What does that mean? Is that a week, 2 weeks?
So how long does demolition take?
Generally speaking.
You know, if you had a bunch of 5-year-olds, it'd probably take a week. 2 weeks is probably what I would, 2.5 weeks. Depends on how much cleanup. One of the things that has to happen as they dig out the pool is that's the point at which we will get the best look at the structural integrity of the wall that's on the lakeside. So that may take a little bit longer than just digging out the concrete, that sort of thing. Yes?
Will the tennis courts be open during demolition and construction?
Will the tennis courts be open during demolition and construction? Yes. Don's nodding yes. He's running that stuff, so yes, they will be. Where you sign in and all that kind of stuff, I think he's trying to figure out. Yes?
Is it possible for the club to make an accommodation with the other 2 pools to help support that residents can use those as well?
There is a brotherly love question on the floor. Will the people who now own swimming pools be willing to share their water with their friends and neighbors?
No. Community pool. Stonegate and Waterford.
I know,
Oh,
Stonegate,
okay.
yeah, the rest of those people, they wouldn't even think about it, so. I think there's been a lot of discussion about that among the condominium association folks and with Don, because we recognize those pools, if they were available, would be helpful for folks who like over the summer to use them. So I think there's some question about who would be responsible for maintenance and where would you get the additional chairs and all the rest of that kind of stuff. Those details are being worked on now. And really, the condo folks have been very, very friendly about it so far. Yes.
Do we have reservations about the residential area? You named the area behind the tennis courts as being residential. Do we have reservations about applying for a rezoning, or why are we not considering that?
Yeah, the question is, for those properties, particularly that area that's behind the tennis courts, why wouldn't we request rezoning of that? And that's exactly what we're going to do, not in conjunction with this project, because what we've been told is that request to rezone that into property that would be usable by Crystal Lake or by the club would take a long time, 6 months or more. So we can start the process, but we don't expect to get any kind of resolution of that. I think the developer at one time had this vision that he was going to build one more Waterford building out behind the tennis courts. That's why it ended up being residential. What we've discovered is there are all sorts of, we were surprised when we found out the bocce courts were on Waterford property. And so what we want to do is go through a more exhaustive evaluation of property lines and what's designated as residential and what's club property and that sort of thing. So for example, what we recognized was if you're standing at the warm-up area on the driving range, that property off to the right that looks like it's part of the club property actually belongs to the condominium association. So we've got these little parcels all over the place. And instead of just doing one at a time, we thought we'd sit down and try to figure it all out at one time and make sure we make an application to rationalize what we've ended up with.
So is that still a possibility that the bocce would be at the end of the tennis area?
So the question is it possible that the bocce courts could end up at the backside of the tennis courts? The answer is it wouldn't happen within the next couple of years. It's not contemplated in our project. Is it possible down the road? The answer is yes, sure, it could be. But it's not part of the project that we're working on because we wouldn't end up with bocce courts when we got done if we waited for that to get rezoned. You're frowning. Did I send out a good answer?
You know, it seems like we've got the land.
Yeah.
And yes, there's going to be a delay. Nobody's going to be happy with a delay. But is there some way we can communicate with them and say, look, is there some way of speeding this thing up?
Yeah, so the question is there some way to expedite the approval and redesignation of residential property into Eagle Creek property? The answer we've been told so far is no, there isn't. They're not going to change their process to meet our current needs. So we asked the question, the answer was no. Because we thought that was the perfect solution to the whole bocce question. And we were actually thinking about pickleball courts out there as well. Yes?
Dave, I'm just wondering if there's any accommodation for our fitness classes. Mainly, I know we have reciprocal, which we've had for years at Lely Players Club during the summer until November 1st. But my main concern is we've had many of our fitness instructors, some of them for 15 and 16 years, faithfully here several times a week. And I presume, I'm hoping we have loyalty to them during this period. Do we have a facility here? You and I talked about it years ago when the clubhouse was being done. A facility here where we can continue to hire, retain these fitness instructors and have a facility here come October, November when they will be returning. That might be a Don question.